I'm Andy Parkin, Managing Director of the Multi-Award Winning Speed Screed. I'm here today to talk about self-leveling floor compound. I would say that I don't believe there is a self-leveling floor compound, per se. Yes, a self-smoothing, but not a self-leveling. Please don't lay the screed and expect it to level itself. However, the term self-leveling floor compound is used extensively in the industry, and I will use it here. Self-leveling floor compound is a cement-based smoothing compound supplied generally in 25 kg bags and mixed on-site with water or latex for some products. When laying vinyl, ceramic tiles, carpet and other floor coverings, self-leveling floor screed compound evens out substrates, leaving a smooth surface to bond to. When we talk about floor leveling compound, we need to consider the different types of screed construction. There are three types. Bonded is very relevant to self-leveling floor compound as it relies on the bond with the substrate. Self-leveling floor compound would be suitable for this type of construction. Unbonded is where you have a membrane in between the substrate and the screed. This type of construction is not something that would be suitable for a self-leveling floor compound. Floating construction is where you have the screed sat on insulation, be it acoustic or thermal. This type of construction is not something that would be suitable for a self-leveling floor compound. When bonding, I think it's important to highlight the process. When looking at the substrate, it needs to be sound. When we say sound, it needs to be solid. If you have crumbling, cracking and other issues, then action needs to be taken before laying the screed. There is no point in laying a self-leveling floor compound mix onto something that isn't stable, because it will only result in the screed cracking and or delaminating. Checks should be made to ensure that the substrate is not contaminated. Contamination can be a variety of things: oils, grease, dust, anything really that may have gone into the pores of the screed, into the capillaries of the screed or the concrete. If there is contamination, it may require some mechanical surface preparation, which may be grinding, scabbling or shot blasting. If there is paint on the surface, then it will need to be removed before laying the self-leveling floor compound. The surface needs to be clean and vacuumed if there is dust on the surface. Before the floor screed is laid, a primer needs to be applied to the substrate to assist in the bonding of the screed and the substrate. Sometimes it can go down without a primer, but always read the instructions before laying. Either way, you are going to need some penetration of the surface. It needs to bond, so it may be that you have to grind off the first couple of millimeters of the matrix to get down to something that is bondable. If the substrate is power floated concrete, then the top of the matrix will need to be removed to get to the more open textured concrete that will allow the primer to penetrate. There are certain products that may go down directly onto a power floated surface, but again, you would have to look at the requirement for each individual product. In general, you would be looking at mechanically altering the surface to allow for better adhesion between the screed and the substrate. Self-leveling floor screed compound thicknesses are very important and vary from one product to another. However, as a general guideline, they are as follows. Minimum depths are usually 2 to 3 mil. However, there are some products that can go down to feather edge, which is kind of a mil and even less. Maximum depths are around 10 to 15 mil. However, with the addition of bulking agents, which is normally kiln-dried sand, some leveling floor compounds can go up to 50 mil. Self-leveling floor compound is normally used to smooth the surface of concrete and screeds when laying thin vinyl or thin floor coverings. Slight imperfections in substrate will show up in these types of floor coverings. A self-leveling floor compound will smooth out those slight imperfections. I hope this helps with your self-leveling floor screed compound questions. If you would like any further help, please get in touch.